Good morning. Good morning. I am so excited to be able to join you all this morning. Good morning. I'm Dr. Lacey of drlacey.com, and welcome to another week of the Empowerment Climb. This is another week for us to get it right, another week for us to grow and glow together, and another week for us to be empowered. It is going to be a dynamic time because, as you know, all month long, we have been talking about the network. Yep, those individuals that you connect with on a daily basis, both in and outside of the workplace. Last week, we talked about exactly the people who are in your village. But this week, we want to talk about the haters. So are you familiar with the Jill Scott song? All my Jill Scott fans are here in the room. If you're familiar with the Jill Scott song, it's a little older, called Hate on Me. Remember, in this song, she describes all of the people that are part of her village, right? They're a part of her, all the people that are part of her tribe, but not necessarily a part of her village. She's describing all the people that are part of her tribe, but not necessarily a part of her village. Well, unfortunately, it is inevitable that not everyone is going to be happy for you. I know it's hard to hear, but not everyone is going to be happy for you or the success that is surrounding you, but you will still experience moments around them. So regardless as to those people, you can't get rid of them. They are going to be a part of your tribe. Unfortunately, when it's said and done, you can't escape the haters. As often as we would like to do so, they are a part of your everyday routine. They are a part of your tribe. And while they are part of your tribe, you definitely don't want to have them in your village. The haters, also known as toxic people, may undermine, they may sabotage, but whatever insidious actions and motives that they come up with, they definitely have an effect on the people that are around them. It's inevitable. They have an effect on the people that you work with. They have an effect on the people that they lead. It doesn't matter. But let's just hope that it's not you. Let's just hope that it's not you. And while the haters or toxic people, they are in your tribe, again, you want to ensure that they do not take residence up in your village. So while they may be a part of your tribe, you have got to keep them out of your village. So here are 4 tips to help you to combat the haters and refrain from allowing them to come into your village. Again, here are 4 tips to help you combat the haters while also remaining free-minded, okay? So, step number 1. First and foremost, you've heard me say this 1,000 times. Your boundaries are healthy. Keep your boundaries. Boundaries are your friend, right? Fret not the haters. These folks teach you how to actually maintain your proper boundaries. It's really easy to get sucked in when you're dealing with toxic people. But these people actually help you to maintain proper boundaries and in actuality ensure that you maintain trust in yourself or maintain trust in your own decisions as well. In addition to that, you need to also keep in mind that while these people, just like the one line in Jill Scott's song talks about and hate on me, while these people may be a part of your tribe, they do not have to be a part of your village. She specifically says, you cannot hate on me because my mind is free. So in other words, she's holding on to her power. So even though those people are trying to hate on her, she's maintaining her boundaries. She's doing what she has to do to protect herself. So in other words, when you determine to remain empowered in your own actions, you remain free of the hater too. You don't give it away, right? And while you may have to work with them, because we all have those around us who are haters or toxic people. So while you may have to work with them, they may even be your boss or supervisor, so you really can't get away from them. You do not have to allow them into your mental space. Plain and simple. You do not have to allow them into your mental space, and you can do so by offering limited engagement. So if they are somebody that you work with, you don't have to go out to lunch with them just because you work together, especially if you know they're a toxic person. Maintain those boundaries. So again, the first step in maintaining that healthy tips on how to combat the haters, ensuring that you remain free-minded, is to maintain and have boundaries that are healthy. Here's step number 2. Protect your power. You hear me say all the time, it's your power. Don't give it away. It is your power. Consider your circle of influence and consider your circle of control. We cannot impact people in our circle of control. We can only impact people in our circle of influence. So remember, we can't control how someone acts. We can't control how someone acts, but we can control 100% how we react to their actions. I'm going to say that again. I can't control what this person chooses to do to me, how they choose to respond to me, how their actions come at me. I can't control that, but I have power in myself that I can control how I react to that, right? I have the choice on how I react to that. So when I remove the emotional response from their negativity, when I remove the emotional response from their negativity, especially when it comes to dealing with the haters or dealing with toxic people, when I take the time to do that, they're going to do what they do, right? They're going to do what they do. So when I take the time to do that, when I take the time to hold on to my power, then I am not being sucked in to their negative choices. I'm not being sucked into their negative choices. And that's the best part of this, right? So here's step number 3. Again, we are talking about handling the haters, how to ensure that you remain free-minded when dealing with them. Think about your haters as those toxic people that you come across in the office, perhaps even in your family. And you know what? Here's step number 3. Do you, boo? Do you, boo? Right? This is step number 3. So when you're thinking about the office, don't completely block out that toxic person. Don't completely block them out. And I know you might be saying to yourself, but Dr. Lacey, you just told me not to be around them. Right. I'm saying don't give all of your time to them, but you also can't block them out. Why can't you block out the toxic person? Yes, you need to keep your distance from them. No, you're not going out to grab coffee. You're not going out to get lunch together. Yes, you need to be able to put your foot down when dealing with them. But this is the person that you need to also be able to cooperate with on some level. What? Yes. You have to be able to cooperate with them on some level. Part of the reason why you have to be able to cooperate with them on some level is you don't want to be perceived as the person who's difficult to get along with. I know it's hard to hear, it's difficult to hear, but you don't want to be perceived as the individual that's difficult to get along with, right? Think of it like this. It's not like they're a frenemy. You know that person that you have that, you want to call and be able to share and celebrate things with, but you kind of know they're not going to celebrate back with you, so you just eliminate making the phone call. So it's not like a frenemy. When you're working with someone who's toxic, someone who's a hater at work, you can't just stop answering the phone. You can't just stop walking by their cubicle, especially if this is someone that you work with or it's a supervisor or a boss. But what you can do is you can limit the amount of time that you speak to him or her, that you share, and limit the amount of time in sharing your ideas. And even, if their ideas are not the best, you still want to respectfully listen to them. And you want to allow them to give their input. You want to, even if it's off basis, still receive it, right? Even if it seems like they don't know what they're talking about. But you are doing all of these things. Why? Because you do not want to be seen as the difficult party, especially if you're trying to advance in your current role. So as you know, just to kind of recap, for those of you who are new joining me, who never joined or been a part of this empowerment climb before, my role is to be able to support current and aspiring female leaders to go from process to practice through education and empowerment. And one of the things that I always teach the women that I have the opportunity to engage with is that not only do you have to hold on to your power, but you also have to learn how to work within the environment you're a part of. So when you are working in that environment, do you, boo, allow them to do what they're going to do. But you have to still maintain a role of professionalism because you don't want to be seen as the difficult party, especially if you are trying to advance in the company that you're in. Remember, so many of us get to the table, but then we're not able to stay at the table, right? We need to learn how to stay at the table and then be at the head of the table to run it. This is one tip that'll allow you to do so. All right. So here's number 4. Again, we are talking about handling the haters, dealing with toxic people, really looking on how you are able to remain free-minded even though you're dealing with all of this. So number 4 is positivity for the win. Positivity for the win. This is key. The absolute best way to counter the negative, toxic, soul-sucking hater is to surround yourself with people who lift you up. Remember, we've been talking all last week about our village. These are the people that are our go-to. These are the ones that we call. We run our ideas past. They have our back. They're helping to build our village. They're helping to propel us to the next level. Those are the ones you want to surround yourself by when the haters and the toxic people are trying to suck the life out of you. Surround yourself with those who you know have your back, right? You have to commit to you as well. You have to make the decision. You have to decide, don't echo the things that a toxic person is saying around you. You don't have to allow that to play in your mind. Don't echo it. But instead, you want to reframe their comments with positivity. So if they like to say things to you like, oh, we're never going to get this project done, or you're just not doing a great job, or we were stronger before you came, you don't have to receive any of that. But instead, you replace that with, I'm a part of this team because they saw I was the right person for the job. I'm a part of this team because I'm going to help to take it to the next level. You see how you replace that? You also want to remember to spend more time with people who are in your village, because those are going to be the ones who are going to allow you to build you up. You want to make a conscious decision to spend more time with the fun, happy, constructive people in your workplace, and not necessarily with those toxic people or the haters that might be there instead. You also want to remember, these are the times when you want to ensure to fill your cup, because it's really easy to not have your cup filled because you're focused on everything else that's happening or that toxic environment that's coming at you. But instead, in an uplifting, supportive, around those colleagues that have your back, or family or people that have your back, these are a great counterbalance to the toxic people that you might encounter, to the haters that you might encounter. So haters, it sounds somewhat like a colloquialism, because it is, but it's another way to think about toxic people. Again, they're in our tribe. We can't avoid them. They're going to be there, but we do not have to allow them to be a part of our village. So real quick, here are the key steps, again, for how to combat the haters and remain free-minded. All right, step number 1, your boundaries are healthy. Your boundaries are healthy. You have to have boundaries. Step number 2, protect your power. It's your power. Don't give it away. Step number 3, do you, boo. Allow them to go ahead. Go on and do the crazy, right? You don't have to be sucked into it. You can maintain your boundary and not have to reflect the negative and the toxic behaviors that they're offering. And number 4, positivity for the win. So what does the research say? Well, the research specifically talks about the word toxic comes from the Latin word toxicon, which means an arrow of poison. Let that sink in for a minute. It actually goes on, and Theo Veldsman, who's the head of the industrial psychology and people management at the University of Johannesburg, says in the literal sense, the term means to kill or poison in a targeted way. To kill or poison in a targeted way. So think about that. Who do you know around you who's steadily trying to kill or poison your dream? Kill or poison your next step? Kill or poison what you're striving and achieving to do? Over the past 2 decades, toxic behavior has been on the rise. It's fed by our cultural upheaval, and it's accompanied by a more general uptick of incivility, and rudeness. In a recent issue of the McKinsey Quarterly, Christine Porath disclosed that nearly half of the workers she polled in 1998 reported they were treated rudely at least once a month. Treated rudely at least once a month. Let that sink in. We're talking about workplace civility, right? But by 2016, that's just 2 years ago, the number had climbed to 62%. Wow. So this is even more of a reason why we need to ensure that we are knowing how to respond to the haters, respond to the toxic people in our environment that we have to deal with. So from the classroom to the boardroom, Dr. Lacey, what is one thing that I can turn around and do today on how to deal with the haters? What's one thing that I can do today? I'm dealing with toxic people because I'm on my way to work. I'm driving, I'm listening to this, I'm watching it, on the side, I'm already at work. What's one thing that I can do today? Well, if you find yourself in this situation, remember to go back to step number 1. Maintain your boundaries. Just because you work with them doesn't mean you have to be besties. You don't have to spend a whole lot of time around this individual. But remember, you do want to be respectful. You want to still engage in an appropriate manner solely because you do not want to be perceived as the difficult person. You also have to keep in mind that these people, while they are a part of your tribe, they do not have to be a part of your village. And you don't have to give them and extend an invitation to allow them to be there, right? So here's your point to practice. Your point to practice comes from Brene Brown, who is a research professor at the University of Houston, of the Graduate College of Social Work, and she has spent 10 years studying vulnerability, courage, authenticity, and shame. And she offers this. When we fail to set boundaries and hold people accountable, we feel used and mistreated. Again, when we fail to set boundaries and hold people accountable, we feel used and mistreated. Wow. What are you going to do today to ensure you set your boundaries so that you do not feel used or mistreated? Write it in the comments below. Leave it for somebody else. You might encourage them. You might come up with an idea that they had not considered. But above all else, you need to remember that yes, while the haters may be a part of your tribe, they do not have to be a part of your village. So next week, I'm super excited because as you know, all month long, we've been talking about the network, and we conclude next week with talking about the tribe you trust. The tribe you trust. Every tribe has people who are toxic, and every tribe has people that are the ones you trust, right? Both do not take up residence in your village, but they're definitely a part of your tribe. So be sure and join me next week so that you can learn tips, strategies, and techniques that you can use from the classroom to the boardroom and how to leverage the tribe that you trust. I am so excited that you would take the time to join me on today. I'm so proud of you that you would take the time to invest in yourself on this early, cold Wednesday morning here in Milwaukee. It's super, super cold. And I want to just ask, please take the time to like, share, and empower someone else who can really use this on today. You know someone else. You know another lady leader. She's looking to level up. She's looking to grow and glow. Please take the time to share this with her. Again, I'm so excited to have you as a part of this. And as always, from process to practice, grab your stilettos and let's go.